let's help you fully open to the flow of life's many abundant gifts. What are life's gifts? They could be things like pleasure, love, money, sort of. We'll get into that in more detail later. Adventure, growth experiences. Gifts are basically a type of energy. And the key here is that you want to get clear on what gifts specifically you're inviting in. Usually people go too far in the objective direction and they ask for things like money or sex or certain people to show up in their lives or a job when what they really want to experience is something like abundance or a greater sense of possibility or relief or pleasure or support or connection or creativity, contribution, teamwork. So you want to focus not on the objective version, but more on the subjective inner experience of what you're inviting in from life, because that's what life can really provide you with. And that's what really helps you lock in and get all the objective side benefits too. Think of it like this. When you want a device to play some music for you and you just ask for music, you could get anything, right? It could start playing some country western music. It could play some genre that's not even, interesting to you. But if you instead ask for something more specific like relaxing music and you include the vibes of what you're looking for, you're more likely to get something, like say some music that's slow or chill or ambient sounds or nature sounds, and it's more aligned with what you want. And so when you think about even just choosing music for yourself and what you want to play, you're probably not just thinking some random song out there, that qualifies as music. You're probably thinking something more specifically, and you're probably thinking more emotionally and vibrationally. You're thinking more of how you want the music to make you feel. Do you want to have some dancey, upbeat, high tempo music, or do you want something slower, more relaxed, or something different? How do you want to feel? And so what you're asking for is you're inviting the energy of the music or the beauty of the music. That's what you want to receive. You're thinking and sensing the experience of the music that you want to invite in. So it's very similar when you invite in other gifts from life. And music is one of those types of gifts, but it's really the feeling space of the music that's the key gift. It's not just the sounds of it. When you invite in other gifts, you want to focus on the energy of the gift in advance. And that's what you really want to invite in. Suppose in business, you want to, hit certain stats or numbers, sales targets, things like that. You don't want to focus so much on that, on the objective version of it, because there's not much of a gift in just seeing a number. What you really want to focus on and invite in is how you would feel being there already, being in alignment with those stats and seeing them. What's the real feeling space? What's the real gift you're inviting in? A number is not a gift, but the feeling space of it can be. So for instance, maybe it's exhilaration or fun or relief or a greater sense of possibility. That's what you want to invite in. As a simple example, I needed to hire a plumber for a big plumbing project, reinstalling a new main line from the city's meter to my house. I went through, a process of getting alignment with what is the energy space of the type of plumber I want to work with. And I realized it's not just about the objective project and getting it done. It's about the feeling space of doing it right. And so then I focused on vibes and feelings as part of what I wanted to experience, like trust and teamwork with the plumber and a sense of mutual respect and a sense of picking up honesty and fairness, and also relief that the job is done eventually and confidence in the person's abilities. And what do most people do? Instead, when they think about what they want to invite in, they invite the opposite because they're dwelling in the wrong feeling space. So they focus so much on the lack, on the neediness, and they vibe with feelings like wanting or craving or worrying about not having it or frustration or impatience about how long it's taking. Or they'll focus on the difficulty or the challenge or the effort involved in having to earn it. Do you do something like that before you play music that you want to listen to? Do you think about, the neediness, I'm so needy, I lack music in my life, or you do worry about it not working? Do you focus so much on the feelings of craving it or wanting it? Probably not, right? Or you focus on the effort of what it takes to get that music playing. No, right? You just go to the feeling space. You're like, oh, music. And you think about the feelings and you sense them in advance of what you want. Sometimes you can even hear the song or the feeling of the song playing through your human matrix before you listen to it. You get that sense of positive anticipation. Now, this is a skill doing this. It takes some practice. But the key here is to dwell within the feeling space where you want to ultimately reside. That's what helps life bring it to you. That's what tells life what you really want. Asking for it verbally and doing affirmations, especially the objective kind, like, affirming you have money, mostly worthless. I mean, it might help a little bit, but mostly worthless. You're much better off focusing on the feeling space of it, getting yourself to vibe with what it's like to already be there. And that's where people really get this wrong. The way they get it wrong is they settle. They settle for mismatches and partial matches. So what happens is when you start attuning to the feeling space of what you want, or you start asking for something, even if you're asking in an overly objectified way, like you're asking for money or you're asking for a job, then you might start getting some matches or potential matches there. What you want to do in that case is get into the feeling space that you want to be in with your ideal match and compare how that potential match that's showing up aligns with your feeling space. Does it match and extend the feelings that you associate with the gift that you want to receive, or does what's showing up seem to conflict with or contradict what you really want to feel when you're there? And if there's a conflict or a contradiction, you want to decline those partial matches or mismatches, and you want to state why. You want to reject partial matches and mismatches for cause, and you want to name the reason. You don't have to name it to somebody else. You need to name it for yourself or name it to reality. And then what that helps you do is it helps you reaffirm and reattune and refine your alignment with the feeling space. Okay, so every partial match that shows up, every mismatch that shows up, every possibility that shows up and gives you that feeling like, the kind of a queasy feeling like, this is not quite what I wanted. This is not quite what I asked for. It's close, but it's like a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. Those 7s are deadly. Say no to the 7s. When a 7 shows up, you're like, that's not it. I want something better. At least go for an 8, 9, or 10, okay? Where it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's got to be perfect enough. Perfect enough for what you're looking for, what you're asking for, where it really aligns well with being in that feeling space. Some things around the edges of it may be surprising to you, may not be quite what you expected, but if the lock into the feeling space is strong enough, you will know it, you will feel it. You will feel like, yeah, this is it. Like when I was looking for a plumber, each time there was one that was a partial match, I rejected them for cause, at least knowing, that I was not going to work with them. One person's bid came in very high, like the others were clustered in a certain group, and one had a bid that was like 50% higher for no extra value. So I was like, okay, you're overpriced. And there's the rejection for cause. I want a plumber who's reasonably priced. Great. And then another one had very poor English skills. I could tell he was an excellent plumber because he seemed very knowledgeable about the project, but I had to say no, because there's a good chance of miscommunication here. And so I rejected for cause because I thought this is too risky. I need somebody with better communication skills. And so on. Another plumber shows up and he looks at the project and he says, this is too big for me. Our company doesn't do this. I appreciated his honesty, but then I realized, okay, I need a plumber who's confident they can do this type of project. This is a match for their size of company. So every plumber that showed up that I ended up rejecting for cause, it helped me refine my vibrational or emotional or feeling space ask to reality. So I kept refining it. And ultimately, it was fairly simple. It was basically finding a plumber who was honest, competent, fair, reasonably priced, and the whole package of everything I was looking for, and somebody I could trust. And also, I extended it to the criteria of somebody I would want to work with on multiple projects, not just this one project, but a plumber that I resonated with so much with that I felt like I could go to for multiple projects. And that's ultimately what I found. And I found a great plumber, and the project's all done now, and I was really happy with it. And I left them glowing 5-star reviews on Yelp and Google, and they were very pleased with that. And so it was just like good squishy feelings all around. And the project was, done objectively well and subjectively well. But what really helped way more than just defining the scope of the project on the objective side was getting into the feeling space of how I wanted to feel during the project and throughout the project and after it was over. And that was a sense of relief, like, oh, good, this is done. And also a sense of possibility, like, oh, good, now I've not only got this project done, but now I've secured a plumber that I could trust for other projects too. That's a really, nice package that would have been better than what I would have gotten, I think, if I just focus on the objective side. Because if I just focus on the objective side, I would have taken one of those other plumbers who checked enough of the boxes objectively, but then I would have made some sacrifices on the feeling space side. And the thing is that we don't ask for enough on the feeling space side. And this is why people end up stuck in partial matches, and they end up in a job that's only so-so, and they don't really feel that great in it. The key here is really to upgrade your emotional vocabulary with life. When you ask for the emotional side, ask for the vibrational side. And every time a partial match or a mismatch comes through, reject it. Reject it for cause. You have no idea how often I see people go for those partial matches and end up being stuck for years until they finally realize they need to ask for more than that. Surely it can bring you an excellent, outstanding match. If it can bring me a great plumber, here in Las Vegas, which is tricky, then, you got a lot of possibilities for yourself as well. So focus on upgrading your emotional vocabulary and don't succumb to those partial matches and those mismatches. Say no to them, reject them for cause, and use that to refine your vibrational and emotional ask. And then you'll see the totality of what you really want, both objectively and subjectively.